Hey everyone, this is Farfetch'd here. Welcome to the first ever episode of Q&A time with Farfetch'd. Ask Farfetch'd, Farfetch'd Q&A. I don't know what I'm going to call this, but for the time being, Q&A show with Farfetch'd, yay! And you know, every video that I ever do on Farfetch'd reviews is in front of this set, you know, just showing off my games, just to, you know, caress my ego. Well, you know what, for once, you know, let's sit somewhere else. How about here? You know, this is a new feature that I want to try out. I'm going to make some changes. I might not stick with this. It's not as nice to look at. I'll give you that. Stupid metally bars all over the place. Yeah. This will do for now. On with the questions. I don't have my snowball mic either, so I feel like I have to shout a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm shouting, but I have a feeling it kind of does. Oh well. On with the questions. Ashley Richardson says, the Uncharted series and the new Tomb Raider are undeniably similar, but what is your favourite unique attribute in each one? Also, would you like to see that attribute featured in the other series? That's a good question. I'm going to have to think about this. I would have to say that my favourite attribute in Tomb Raider is the attribute that sets it out from Uncharted the most, the survival-y aspect, and the gritty, dirty, kind of gory survival aspect, because that isn't really something that I'd ever come across in a game before. There probably is a game that has that same kind of thing, but I haven't played it, so I really like that. I thought it was a really nice, fresh change to the Tomb Raider story, and I always thought it seems kind of convenient that out of all the Tomb Raider games, Lara stays really physically fit and clean and, you know, bruise-free, never gets dirty. So I really like this, you know, bringing it to reality, showing that, you know, adventuring and climbing mountains is not always what it's cracked up to be. So I really like seeing that in the new Tomb Raider. So, what you're asking is, would I like to see that attribute in Uncharted? Maybe, yes. Because the one thing I don't like about Uncharted, which I guess saying I don't like it is a bit harsh, but Nathan Drake seems so, you know, so lucky, so, immortal in a way, you know. And sure, he gets knocked up a bit, but he seems to get out of every little scrape, you know. Bruise-free. I don't know why I keep saying bruise-free. But my favourite attribute but I guess in a way that's my favourite attribute in Uncharted, because my favourite attribute is how crazy it gets, like how unlucky Nathan Drake is, like when there's a set piece going on and everything goes wrong, like he's leaning closer and closer towards death, and then at the end he just gets out by the skin of his teeth and makes it out alive, like always. And I guess saying I don't like that, he's too immortal and lucky, you know, I guess that's the point of Uncharted, but, you know, I kind of like the different takes on it with Uncharted and Tomb Raider. And I guess I feel like Tomb Raider does kind of have that same immortality, you know, with the going down the bridge with the plane. I still feel like there was a bit of that, but yeah, I guess that's my two favourite attributes. So yeah, that's that question answered, hopefully. 1451 Tyler says, what is your dream job? Are you working towards that goal? My dream job is, man, I don't know what my dream job is. I'm 17. I'm still at that stage in life. I probably will be in this stage until I'm about 28 or something. But where I just don't know what I want to be in life. I mean, as I was growing up, I wanted to be an animator. I still kind of do. I wanted to write stories for children, wanted to be an illustrator, comic book artist. I wanted to be a bloody basketballer at some point. I mean, I guess I've kind of ruled that one out now because I've eaten too many cookies throughout my life, among other things. But yeah, I mean, there's still a bunch of things that I really want to be. One of them being what I'm doing right now, making videos on the internet, entertaining you guys. So I guess, in a way, I would like this to be my dream job. Because while I'm doing this, I have college as well, like I'm studying film at college at the moment, but I'm always like, man, college, I can't do college work, I'm too caught up in making videos, and like, I have to explain to my teachers, I'm sorry, my videos come first. I actually had to say that to my teacher, I'm sorry, and I guess I can say that because it's film. I'm at a film school, so I can say, sorry, my own films come first, because I actually have an audience that demands them. Not demands, I mean, you know what I mean. Not demands like, come on, but expect them. My ideal life would be this as my full-time job, devoting every day to this non-stop. Well, maybe not non-stop, because eventually that would become really boring. But, you know, like, you know, doing this, getting paid for it, that would be amazing. I would absolutely love that. Hopefully that could happen one day. But I can dream, I guess. The Atomic Pervert said, nice name, by the way. What's your opinion on Batman Arkham City? Oh my god. I was just hoping someone would ask me this earlier. That's so weird. Literally, just earlier, I was talking to myself out loud at why I think Arkham City is nowhere near as good as Arkham Asylum. And I've said this, like, throughout the past 2 years on, like, certain videos, and I've always said, I'll leave it for another day, I'll explain it another time, I really can't be bothered to go into it now. But I will try and, bottom line, Arkham Asylum, like, the villains in Arkham, I can't believe I'm talking about this on a video, I was just talking, anyway, the villains in Arkham Asylum, like, there's a select few, there's Bane, there's Poison Ivy, I nearly said Atomic Ivy then, I was thinking about the username, there's the Joker, obviously, Harley Quinn, there's only, like, a certain amount of villains, and because of that, they have more screen time, and, you know, like, every bad guy in the game, you feel like they're, like, a big presence in the game, maybe not so much Killer Croc, because he's kind of a, you know, a little, and Scarecrow, I guess, but you know what I mean, like, and everyone plays off each other throughout the game, like, there's a part where, Poison Ivy is talking to you over the intercom, and then Joker chimes in and mocks her, and, like, you know, stuff like that. And what else? I had another example, because I was talking about this earlier, but I forgot. I don't remember, but the point is, you know, every villain feels, like, really integral to the story. And, you know, they really feel like a part of it. Not really that, but Arkham Asylum, like, the isolation of being on an island with a bunch of crazy people and there's no escape. Like, I really like that. I really feel like that works. Like, the isolated halls of Arkham Asylum, knowing that the Joker is watching you, like, planning his next step. It's quite creepy, in a way. I really like it. And then there's Arkham City. You know, you can just fly around the city, and it's still isolated, because you're trapped in a city, but you're still, like, gliding around. It's not the same, and you know, I don't hate Arkham City. I'm still giving it chances to, you know, I'm still trying to, like, let me try that. I'm still trying to play it to make me think, okay, let me see what I'm missing, and hopefully this time I will realise how great it is. And to be honest, I played it the other day, and I like it a bit more now, but, I don't know, I prefer the isolation. And, not only that, but, the villains in Arkham City, it just feels like there's way too much. Like, the complete polar opposite of Arkham Asylum, like, the enemies. Like, it feels like the developers were saying, oh god, who can we put in this game? The Joker, Poison Ivy, Clayface, the Riddler, Hugo Strange, Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, whatever. Bane, Deadshot, Hush, just Talia al Ghul, Catwoman, just everyone is in this game, and they don't fit right. Like, because there's so many people, I didn't even mention the Penguin, Solomon Grundy, Mr. Freeze. Like, because there's so many people in the game, some of them are just reserved for boss battles. Like, Solomon Grundy is just a boss battle in the game. And there are some people who, Solomon Grundy are their favourite, like, character in the DC universe, like the favourite bad guy for Batman in the DC universe. There are some people who love Solomon Grundy, and then there he is, just as some quick boss, because they wanted to put him in the game, but they had no place for him. And this is going to seem like really out of place, but in Wreck-It Ralph, Mario isn't in Wreck-It Ralph. That's not a spoiler, by the way. He's not in Wreck-It Ralph. I really thought he would be, but he's not. And the people who made it said, we really wanted to put him in, but we couldn't find any worthwhile place to put him in to do him justice. And it feels like Arkham City did the opposite of that. It was like, oh, Deadshot. How could Deadshot fit into the story? Oh, he can't. Quick side mission, Bane. Bane literally doesn't do anything in the story. Side mission. I don't know, it just feels like, oh, there's the Penguin. See you later, Penguin. Move along. It's like a conveyor belt of Batman enemies. It's like, oh, look at him. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that guy. Oh, he's that guy. I'm rambling on about this way too much. I know I am. The one other thing, I'll fly right through this because I've got more questions to answer, is that in Batman Arkham Asylum, all the gadgets you get, you need at some point in the story, like the explosive gel, the line launcher, the remote control batarang. In Batman Arkham City, you're still getting new gadgets towards the end of the game that you will never use but you only get just to advance the story because they wrote themselves into a corner. Like, there's one point where I don't quite remember, like, someone's got someone like that, and they're like, aha, stop me now, Batman, and you get a new Batarang that, like, automatically goes behind people, then comes back and hits them in the back of the head or something. And there's no reason for it, but because the developers had wrote themselves, well, the writers had wrote themselves into a corner and thought, oh, how do we get Batman out of this situation? Just give him a gadget that solves the situation. I mean, obviously, I don't know if that's the case, but it sure seems like it. And I don't know, it just feels like... and I'm rambling on about this so much. And you've asked another question. Batman Arkham City is a great game, but I prefer Arkham Asylum so much more. And don't hate me, because I know I'm in such a minority. I was actually reserving all of that I just said for a different video entirely. But I just got all of that off my chest right now. So yeah, that was good. Question 2. Have you ever played Telltale's The Walking Dead? If you have, what do you think of it? I've actually LP'd it over on my old account, Farfetch'd for dinner. Why are you so far behind? Oh, what are you doing? Run! What are you doing? Oh, why? It's not very good. That's why I don't use that channel anymore, because I don't like my old LPs. It was my favourite game in 2012. I absolutely love it. I really want to review it one day. I don't have the time to review older games. That's why I haven't gotten around to the Bioshock 2 review yet, or the Wii U games, because in between new PS3 games that are coming out, I have no time for other games, because I take too long. But hopefully that'll be one of the games I get round to at some point. But yeah, Telltale's The Walking Dead, I absolutely love it. It's amazing. But it's not a game I would ever come back to. I played through it once, and I don't think I'll ever play it again. And that doesn't mean I don't like it. I love it, but I get that with a lot of games. I don't know why. I'm looking at my collection now. Are there any other games like that? Not Shadow of the Colossus. I played that a couple of times. Rayman Origins. I've beaten that, but I never played it again. I don't know why. Because I love it. I'm rambling on again. Next question. Oh, P.S. Your reviews are great and keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I love stuff like that. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. Next question. The cat went woof. Nice name. I like the irony. Question. What is your all-time favourite game? I accidentally clicked a button and I went onto his channel. What is your all-time favourite game? The worst game you have played? Or what game would you say needs an improvement? My all-time favourite game. The thing is, I've been playing a lot of games lately. That makes me think that's in my top 10. So I guess I can't round it down to my favourite one. But some of the games that are in my top 10 are Half-Life. A lot of them are first-person shooters, I find. Batman Arkham Asylum, Half-Life 2, Portal 2, Bioshock Infinite. Man, what else? That's the only ones I can remember. There were other games I was playing. Super Mario Galaxy. All of those, I can't decide over any of those. They're all my favourite games of all time. The worst game I've ever played. My mind went straight to Ninja Bread Man, which I've also LP'd over on Farfetch'd for dinner. But it's not bad. It's just so mind-numbingly average. I'm looking at it over there. That's why I'm looking over there. But yeah, Ninja Bread Man is not that bad. But I guess it is the worst game I've ever played. So, Ninja Bread Man, I suppose. Unless there is a worse. Dead Island Riptide. Dead Island Riptide. What am I talking about? Dead Island Riptide is the worst game I've ever played in my life. And what game would you say needs an improvement? I'm trying to think of a game that was so close to being on my top 10, but just fell short a little bit. I feel like there is a game that comes under that, but I can't think of it. I know later on I'll be kicking myself, but I'll go with Heavenly Sword. Because it's not a bad hack and slash. It's very average, it's very forgettable. I bought it from eBay not long ago. I played it, and I enjoyed what I played, but as soon as I turned it off, I just forgot everything about it. So I guess Heavenly Sword is a game that I would say needs improvements. They are making a movie, apparently, of Heavenly Sword. Hopefully they'll make a sequel that will fix those criticisms that I had with the first game. Maybe I'll review it. I don't know. I'm promising too much now. Moving on to the next question. Sean Anderson says, Power Ranger, Pokemon Trainer, Time Lord, Jedi, Hogwarts student. Which would you be? I would say Hogwarts student. Because technically, couldn't I just magic up a lightsaber or something? That's a cheat, I can't say that. I'll just say Hogwarts student because I'm more attached to the Harry Potter universe than I am anything else. Yeah, even Pokemon, which is weird to say. So yeah, I'll go with Hogwarts. I've always loved the thought of going to Hogwarts. So yeah, next question. Awesome Shocker says, 20 questions. Oh, this is going to be good. What's your favourite food? Mashed potato. What are your hobbies besides playing games? What are your hobbies besides reviewing games? Playing games. I'm a pretty pathetic individual. Everything I do involves games. Can you do a backflip? If so, show yourself. Do I look like I can do a backflip? Look at me. I can't do a backflip. What's your video editing software? Sony Vegas. It's not the best, but it's what I use. What camera do you use? It is a Sanyo Sakti. I wish I could show you a picture of it. It's actually covered in tape because it's falling. Look, you can hear the tape moving around. If I could take the tape off and show you it, the screen, the little preview would be hanging by a thread. Literally, it was hanging by a little cord. I sellotaped it all back together and it's working again. I'm a genius with tape. How's the weather today? I don't know. It's British weather. It's nothing weather. Look at it. What weather would you say this is? It's nothing weather. It's there weather. That's what weather is. It's there. Just there. What's one of your most embarrassing moments you've done in public? I don't know. I've been kegged in primary school. Kegged just means someone comes up behind me, pulls my trousers down. I was like 8 at the time. That's at an age where you're not considered weird for pulling down another guy's trousers. It's considered cool and funny. Favourite beverage? Pepsi Max is what I drink the most. What's your favourite video game of all time? I've already answered that. Just to reiterate. Actually, no, not to reiterate. I've already answered it in this video. What's your favourite movie of all time? Memento, first film that came to mind. It's one of my favourites. Your least favourite video game of all time? Ninja Bread Man. Least favourite movie of all time? Good question. Titanic 2. What's your favourite cartoon? A regular show. I'm not going to be nostalgic and say a cartoon from the 90s, like Ed, Edd and Eddy or Courage the Cowardly Dog, because they are good, but regular show is my favourite at the moment. If you're in college, what are you majoring? I'm majoring in film. I'm about to move on to university, which is pretty crazy. Favourite snack? Anything that's around. Do you watch any other YouTubers besides the ones in your channel box? If so, who? I don't remember who's in my channel box, but I watch Scottish Duck, who is an LPer. I really like him. I pretty much covered everyone I watch is in my channel box that I can think of, so yeah. What's the first video game you've ever played? Oh man, I don't know. I think it might be Tarzan on PS1. Either that, no, it might be Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. The thing is, I grew up with Sony consoles. I always wished I grew up a Nintendo fanboy, but my parents always bought me Sony consoles. But I can at least say my first ever video game was Super Mario Land. I like knowing that. Video recording device you use, I'm guessing you mean like a capture card. I use the HDP VR for the Wii U, and the HDP VR 2 for the PS3. Yes, I have both. I was going to get rid of one, but the HDP VR 2 can't record Wii U, but it can record PS3, but the old HDP VR can record Wii U, but records PS3, weirdly. So I need to keep both if I'm going to be able to record everything well, which is annoying, but it's what I have to work with. What are you having for dinner today? I don't know, my mum's not come back from work yet. She will be in half an hour. I think Sunday dinner or something, despite it being a Friday. And you know what, I think I'm going to call it quits for the day, because I weren't anticipating how long it would take me to answer some of those questions. But they were all great questions. Thank you for sending them in. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Please send more in, even if you're not like, I wonder what Farfetch'd, even if you got a stupid question to ask. Send it in, because then I'll say your name. I don't know if that means anything to you, probably not. Is this arrogant? I feel like I'm being really arrogant, but whatever. See you next time on Ask Farfetch'd. I think that's what I'm going to call it. See you then. I'm not going to have this set next time, don't worry.